Hey, everybody, welcome back to Two Nerds in a Podcast. Today, we're talking one of my favorite subjects in the universe, and that is Supernatural, the TV show.
Ooh, perfect for spooky season.
Yes, yes, the most confusing show to a lot of my friends because I go, I really love this show. And then they watch season one and they go, but you don't like scary, so why do you love this show? And then all I have to say is Dean Winchester, and everyone goes, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
He is definitely my favorite.
Yes.
I just love how sassy he is all the time.
All the time.
Like he's just so sassy all the time.
He's got those snappy comebacks. He's constantly like ready to fire. And just like, oh my gosh, yes. And I also love that he has like that kind of like machismo, like he knows he's good looking, he knows he's badass, and he knows that all he has to do is give his cute little pouty face, and pretty much
Yeah.
anybody will give him whatever he wants. Except his dad, because John's immune to that. Um, but honestly, the first, I think I said this in the last time we talked about Supernatural, the show. The first few seasons are the spookiest. So
hmm
I'm really glad you at least made it through season one because I was like, this will be very much like Casey's kind of era. I think you'll like what a lot of people call the Kripke era, which is Eric Kripke wrote and directed the first 5 seasons.
hmm
Um,
hmm
and it's very the first 3 seasons specifically are very monster by the week, monster of the week, we're hunting this,
Yeah.
learning that. So definitely the spookiest because we are at the same level as Sam and Dean, where they're the biggest thing that they're fighting is a demon, whereas like when you get to season like 15, you're like, oh yeah, it's just a demon, you do X, Y, and Z and call it a day.
Yeah. It gets more bigger. That
Mm-hmm.
was intelligent. More
Yeah.
bigger.
Bigger.
Bigger. It gets it gets
Yeah, but it does. It scales up because you go from
yeah.
fighting like demons, which are really average, and ghosts to God. So like it just like
To literal God.
amplifies. Yeah, like literally, and then like not just like the God, but also just gods in general. So
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely like upgrade. They kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger every season. But my first question is, what was your favorite episode out of this season, or favorite monster out of this season?
That's a good question. I really liked oh my god, what were they called? We talked about them in our
Mm-hmm.
cryptid episode, and then I
Was it a
watched like
Wendigo?
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I know what that is. Here, let me pull up
Yeah, take a look at the
the
episode list. For those of you who have never seen Supernatural, one, get to it. This series is over. You can binge the whole thing. It's on Netflix. Um,
and you'll have plenty of it.
but yeah, yeah. I don't pick short shows for the most part. So, as we can see, my favorite show, Supernatural, 15 seasons. They're all 20 to 22 episodes a season. And then my favorite anime is One Piece, which is over 1,000 episodes. So, I don't do short shows for the most part, but um Supernatural is my favorite because it still is that very classic 22 episode TV season. Most of the episodes are about 40 minutes, but the story to me is just so good. I know uh, a lot of people, when I say Supernatural is amazing and one of the best shows out there, they go, it's mid. I don't think so. I think there's so much into this show that is absolutely amazing. And then a lot of people say, oh, it should have ended at season 5. But there's so many. amazing characters we get after season 5. And we get to know one of the most iconic characters, which is Castiel, even more after season 5. Because if it ended at season 5, we would have had one season with Cass, and that's it.
Hmm.
And one season of Cass is just not enough.
Like we need more, and you got more.
Yes. Yes, thank goodness. It was a little sketchy there in the middle. I won't lie. Like I'm not saying that there's no bad parts, but for an overall show that went on for 15 seasons off of ye old kind of wait and see renewal that a lot of TV studios used to do versus now where they just kind of greenlight stuff whenever they feel like it. But this was one of those things like back in the day they had to wait until all the ratings were in for like the
Yeah,
whole
especially because this came
season.
out in 2006. Like that was like
Mhm.
a long time ago. That was
Yeah,
like
I was in the 5th grade.
wow.
5th grade, 6th grade is that's why like Supernatural for me, I missed the original era of Supernatural because it just wasn't in my wheelhouse at that time. I didn't have any older siblings that would have watched it. I didn't have a whole lot of friends that were into like spooky stuff, and if they were, it was mainly movies, not TV shows. And also, there was
Hmm.
no such thing as like DVR or streaming. So if you missed an episode, you were out. Like that was it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe catch it on a rerun eventually, but then like you literally missed one episode and then you would have to either just skip it or be behind the whole season. So you had to pick your battle there.
Yeah, it's crazy that that came out in 2006. Like, and you can tell, like, it definitely was made in like
Oh
it's
yeah.
like definitely like the first season. I mean, I'm sure as I go on, because it ages, but like
Mm-hmm.
the first season definitely has like acting that was like from 2006.
Yeah,
It
yeah, for
like
sure.
when I think of like 2006, I think of like all those like shows like Degrassi or like where it's just
Mm-hmm.
like this is like early 2006 acting.
Yes.
Um but I thought it was good regardless. I'm excited to watch more.
Yay.
I see
I'm
my cat
excited for
poking his
you.
head over my laptop
He's
staring
like,
at me.
hello.
Goodness gracious. But yeah, Dean is definitely my favorite. I
Mm-hmm.
also like, even though I'm only one season in because of you, I
Mm-hmm.
get all of the edits on TikTok and I love them. I love the one where he's like holding up the like inmate sign. I don't even know what those things are called. And
Oh, yeah.
he's like
Blue steals it.
yeah, I love that. Like I love that clip so much.
Yeah,
I'm definitely a Jensen Ackles stan
absolutely. We
for
love Jensen
reals.
Ackles here on the pod.
We love Jensen Ackles in this house, Soldier Boy, and we're gonna get like
Oh,
a whole show of him. Like,
oh,
please give me more.
oh, I'm so ready. Do you know what I found out? Reed, this is a complete side tangent. Do you know what I found out recently about Jensen Ackles?
Hmm.
He was originally one of the men considered for the lead role in 50 Shades of Grey.
What?
I need everybody to imagine, use your imagination. It's not very hard for this. Jensen Ackles as the
I think
leading
that
man of 50 Shades of Grey. We would have
I
all
think that
exploded.
yeah, that movie would have like skyrocketed like
Oh
way
my
more than it
god.
did. Because
Yeah.
that guy wasn't
And
even like attractive. The guy that they
no.
picked was like
Yeah.
not very good looking.
He was yeah. He was passable. But yeah, and then I also found out because he told the story at a panel that I had seen a clip of. His wife Danielle was in full support of him being in that movie, and I was like, you literally could not ask for more. Not only him as he is, but also wife is like, yes, you go right ahead. I
Yeah,
approve.
absolutely. She's like, "That's my favorite movie. I watch it all the time."
Yeah, she knew what it was gonna be, and she was like, "Yes, feed the people, give them the movie." Ugh. So I think about that frequently now. Um, but anyways, back to Supernatural. Um, I was gonna ask you something. I don't remember what it was. oh,
I like I was
mhm.
gonna oh, go ahead and ask it so you don't
No,
forget. So you don't
no, you go
forget.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I like Baby. Is
Yeah, she's a
yeah,
pretty.
so pretty.
She unfortunately, she goes through a lot in this show.
I'm sure. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
a lot of driving. I don't know how
Oh my gosh, yeah.
they do it because I'm like the when I have to drive next weekend, it's like a
Yeah.
3.5 hour drive, and I'm like, that's like a road trip. That's like a
Yeah.
full on. I need to pack snacks. I need to make sure I have
Mhm.
like plenty of water. Plenty of things to do, and they're just
Yeah.
doing that every day, and I'm like, that's crazy.
All the time. Every week.
All the
Like they
time.
live on the road.
That yeah, I could not do that. No, thank you. The road life is not for me. I need to be at home bed rotting by myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The one thing I will say is that the Impala, like considering that Jensen Ackles is 6'3" and Jared
Oh
Padalecki is
my
like
god.
6'4" or 6'5", something ridiculous. And not only can both of them fit inside this car, but also Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who I think is like 6 foot.
Oh my god,
Like
bunch
you
of
got
giants.
yeah, you got a bunch of giants in this car. And they can all fit in there comfortably. So if I had to do a road trip or constantly drive for work, it would 100% Dean would have to drive because I'm not driving. But I'd be laying in the back seat. I'd just be like, "This is my domain. This is my bed.
Yeah.
Please
This is where I
don't
am.
interrupt." Yeah, this is mine. You
Do
don't have a
they
back
like
half of the car.
did they like keep the car from the show?
So there was 3 Impalas. Jensen has the first one. Jared has the
Oh.
second one.
Oh.
And then the third one was like an actual like stunt car. So it had like skid plates and all this other, like the whole inside was ripped out and all that. So the boys do
Mm-hmm.
each have a baby. So if you ever go to a supernatural convention, typically it's either Jared and Jensen, they kind of like switch off. So when I went to Austin, I believe it was Jared's Impala that was in there. But I think Burbank had Jensen's Impala.
Did you take a picture with it?
I didn't take one with it because you have to pay for that, but I did take
Oh,
one of her because
that's
she's
cool.
stunning.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, what did you think of spoiler alerts? I think we should all know by now that we do spoilers. Um, what did you think of Sam's girlfriend and the whole 5 minutes we got to know her?
Oh, when she burst into flames.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like the same thing with like the boys, where it's
Yeah.
like Huey and his girlfriend, you're like, they're so cute. They're gonna be together forever and live happily ever after. And then
Wrong.
they they burst into flames or they get run over by a person and
Yeah.
lose every body part.
Yeah.
Um, I'm like, can he like can he have a break? Poor
No.
little Sam.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor Sammy. Our poor Winchester boys honestly never get a break. Ever.
No.
Like they as
I
much as they try, they get nothing. And it breaks my heart because Dean specifically always has like an identity crisis. Like I would say pretty much every season because they just never catch a break. There's just they add like as the enemies and the bad guys like upscale every season, so does the like pressure for the Winchesters because like it increasingly becomes very apparent that the world rests on the Winchester shoulders.
Ugh, that's so much responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some I'm excited for you to get into later seasons because they do some really cool like twists and things like that you go, "Oh," like you start to see the bigger picture
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, "Wow, that makes so much sense." Like it's just so much creativity put into the show specifically surrounding Sam and Dean. So for those of us who love Supernatural as a whole, it's just very intriguing the whole time and absolutely amazing.
Well, and with 15 seasons, like you could really dive into
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and they take a lot of risks in a lot of things, and again, some of them you go, "Ooh, you shouldn't have done that. That was." But then the next season they'll like turn it around, and it'll be really good. But you do see because it's so long, you do see the kind of like stretch of the story as the
Mm-hmm.
seasons go on. So like most of the time like one season will have like by the end of one season you would have completed basically a whole arc. In the later
Yeah.
seasons they kind of start stretching that into like a season and a half and then two seasons and then they just kind of like stretch it further and further. But I think the last like handful of seasons are some of the best like seasons. But there's so many amazing episodes every season and so many iconic episodes. So I'm excited for you to keep watching
What is
because
your
you'll be like
favorite
me.
season?
Ooh. I want to say season 12, I think is my favorite season. There's just, and I think that's because that was the first season I got to watch as it premiered. So it just has like a special
Oh,
place in my heart, but also
yeah.
it just the story and the relationship that Sam and Dean have in that season just it makes me want to like squeeze them because I love them so much. And it just I don't know, something about it just clicks in my brain for me. But I think one of my favorite episodes out of the whole show is actually in season one. Um,
Oh,
it Yeah, it's the episode called "Dead in the Water." I want to say, let me see, let me look. It is episode 3 actually, and it's when Sam and Dean go to like a little small town that is being like haunted by
oh,
a
mm-hmm,
ghost that keeps
mm-hmm.
like drowning people.
Yes.
Yeah, one of my favorite episodes. Such a good episode. But yeah, I think Dead in the Water is one of my favorite episodes. I really like my next watch through. I really need to write down like what the actual episode titles are because I can always remember. I mean, that's the one great thing about Google is if you type in like a rough
Oh, yeah.
description of an episode, it'll like pop up and I'm like, "Oh, thank God," because I don't remember what season because I when I watch Supernatural, I watch it all at once. So it's just a continuous thing in the background that I should, try to put on, and then I end up just sitting there watching it. But I don't. It's become just one clump of a show. It's not.
Yeah, just
It's no
one
longer
lump sum.
individual. Yeah, it's no longer individual like episodes.
That's the problem when
When
you binge things. It's like it's just a big
yes,
movie. Yeah, I
yeah,
just it's one
yeah.
entity.
Yeah, I remember we were standing in line at the Austin convention, and the guy in front of us asked our opinion of the. He said, I think he said season 7, and I hate when people ask like that question like that
Like,
because I don't. So I was like, "Is that the Leviathan season?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Thank God." It's because it's the one season that I didn't really care for, which is why I remember it. But I yeah, don't ask me like by seasons. You have to basically ask me by arc. Um, that's how I identify One Piece as well. Like when
Yeah.
people go, "Oh, where are you in One Piece?" I don't say because they're not really like divided by seasons. So I tell them an arc. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm in Annie's lobby. I'm at this episode," and a lot of people go, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah." But yeah, when people go, "Oh, did you like season?" If you came up to me and said, "Did you like season 8?" I'd have no idea. I don't know what season
You're
that
like, I
is. You're
don't
gonna have to
know.
be more
Can you give me a
specific.
description? Yeah.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah. Gonna need a little more information than that.
Yeah, give me a
Um,
little bit more here. I need more to work with.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, Also, one of the episodes in season 1 that sticks in my brain is the Bloody Mary episode.
Yeah, that one too. I that one was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was just really surprised. Like, I don't know if it's because like well, I don't know about. I say we. I'm assuming you because we went to the same high school. Uh, had like a history with Bloody Mary and that like rumor flying around and people at like parties trying it and stuff like that. I remember that was a big, especially at slumber parties, which they bring up in that episode. So I'm just like, wow, wow, we're all so very stereotypical.
Absolutely. Stereotypical teenagers believe in everything.
Yeah,
Don't
but
believe
also,
everything you hear on the internet.
yeah, yeah, I
Or
do
do.
love. Yeah, maybe. I mean, you can believe everything we say sometimes. Um, we tell only truth and definitely not Wikipedia facts. Uh,
Absolutely. We are this is 100% fact-based podcast. Um
Absolutely. So much
no
research.
so much research. I'm like, this may have happened,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, I love Supernatural because I think because they like really took their time and designated the first few seasons to really being monster by the week. They bring in a lot of different, like we brought up Wendigos and then Bloody Mary and just kind of all these things where I feel like at least for the US, it's kind of like a general thing that just got passed around no matter where you lived. So it's all coming together in this show and it's just so fun to hear.
yeah. Yeah, I agree, especially cuz I love me a good cryptid and a good monster
Mhm.
and like a
Mhm.
good spooky haunted anything like that. I'm in for.
Yeah.
Um so that's why I was like when I first started watching it I was like I don't know how Jamie likes this show. And then I was like, well, uh, watching it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense because Dean
Yeah.
is
You're like,
amazing.
yeah, you're like,
Dean's the
I
best.
understand. Do you know what's
I understand.
yeah. You know what's funny though is I actually started watching this show for Jared. I started watching it for
Really?
Sam. Yeah, because I had just finished watching Gilmore Girls as a whole, and
Mm.
I was like, he's kind of cute. What else is he in? And Supernatural is one of those things that, like, if you were on Tumblr in the like 2010s slash late, you know, be, kind of like 2010 or maybe like 2009 to 2010, Supernatural was everywhere. Many people were obsessed. I completely understand. But Supernatural is also very famous for having a GIF for everything,
Hmm.
which we do as a fandom. So it's just one of those things that I wasn't a big Tumblr girly until like college, but I was really big Pinterest girly. And Pinterest, at least my Pinterest, is full of like Tumblr screenshots basically. So it's like Tumblr 2.0. So I basically had seen the show through Pinterest. And so I was like, you know what? I might as well just like actually watch it. And I found the first set of DVDs because it was before streaming. Well, actually, Netflix was a thing. It wasn't streaming though; it was DVDs. But I checked my first season of Supernatural out from the library.
Oh my gosh.
Popped in that DVD, and then Jensen Ackles told Jared Padalecki that Dad is on a hunting trip and hasn't been home in 3 days, and I was like, well. I found my favorite fictional character right there. I'm like, yep, that one. That's my man.
I'm really excited to watch like more episodes and more seasons because
Mm-hmm.
obviously we've been friends for a long time and I
Yes.
follow you on Instagram and YouTube and all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already like seen some references that I've like heard you say before
Mm-hmm.
or like I've heard in general where they're like, they're like what do you say? What is it like saving people like hunting
Yeah,
things?
saving people
I'm like they
hunting
say that that's
things.
the thing.
Family
That's the thing
business.
that they said the thing.
They said the
I'm like
thing,
I'm like
yes.
that's the thing they said it. They said the thing.
Yep.
So I'm very excited to like start catching all the references that I've like seen like through you and just like on the internet in general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I know there's
Now,
something to do with like pies, but I don't know what it is.
yes. But yes, there's gonna be lots of little things you're gonna be like, oh, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Now, you were a Walking Dead fan, right?
I was for
So,
a while.
yeah. So, how does it feel seeing Jeffrey Dean Morgan in a different show?
It's okay. So my prior experience to Jeffrey Dean Morgan was
Hmm.
like first it was Grey's Anatomy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
for a while that was like my only experience with him. And I was like, okay, I
Hmm.
get it. Listen. Um, I don't even know what his fucking name is in the show. But he
Yeah.
Denny dies and everybody's
Yeah.
just destroyed.
Yeah.
And then cue the Snow Patrol. If I
Oh
lay
my
here.
god, no.
um, so that was my first experience. And then my second experience was The Walking Dead Negan, which I absolutely loved him so much.
Hmm.
And honestly, he'll always be Negan to me.
Yeah.
Like he's never not gonna be Negan. And it's weird too because like this show obviously is before he is on The
Hmm.
Walking Dead. So he's like even younger. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But
Little
I love
baby.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan so much. I love that we get, another show with him and Jensen in. I'm like, I'm here for that.
Hmm.
I love this combination. It's a good one.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how your opinion of John Winchester evolves over the next few seasons because half of the internet loves John Winchester and half of the internet absolutely hates John Winchester. For a variety of reasons, many of which are valid. So I'll be interested to see if you end up loving or hating John. I actually really love John Winchester, but I also do want to punch him in the face on a frequent basis.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you just have that. I mean, just like at any moment, I'm gonna punch him in the schnoz. Um, so I'll be interested to see how you feel about John Winchester in a few seasons.
I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see. So, like, I think so. Dean is my favorite because I like
Mm-hmm.
that he's so like he's just so smart. Like
Yeah.
he's just got like you were saying, he's got a
Yeah.
line for everything.
Yeah.
But
He's
I'm excited to
witty.
see like how their relation, like him and Sam's relationship develop. Cause
Mm-hmm.
like you can tell like Sam wants to like figure out what's going on, but then he's also like, I don't know. And Dean's like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's
Dean.
go.
Yeah. Dean's that very. classic older child. They very definitely have a very classic older child, younger child dynamic where
Mhm.
Dean is trying so hard to be the perfect child for John. He's trying to make sure that he's doing everything his dad asks, that he's doing everything that his dad has ever told him to do, and he can't mess up because otherwise dad will be mad and blah blah blah. Whereas Sam is very much, which they bring up in later seasons, he's very much like John, and that's why they butt heads all the time. But they have that classic, like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to be my own person. And John is like, no, you're my child. You're going to do exactly what I want you to do. So it's interesting to see, like, and again, it breaks your heart a little bit because you realize that Sam wasn't really raised by John. He was raised by Dean. So Dean
Mhm.
is his person and his father figure in his life.
Which
Um,
is like
uh,
a menace.
yeah. Yeah. But it also, like, it explains a lot about Dean and still acting very what Sam would consider childish, but what you and
Mhm.
I would consider hilarious and
Yeah.
funny, and very attractive.
I'm
But
like, he's perfect. What are you talking about?
yeah, and Sam would just roll his eyes at us. Um, but because I feel like around Sam, he's allowed to just be himself. Whereas
Mhm.
whenever John is around, he's like, back as straight as a board, gotta be perfect, gotta like shut up and not say anything and follow orders. Like he's gotta be the perfect like little soldier for John.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I don't have any siblings, so I can't relate to that, but
Yeah,
I don't know,
when
do
it
you
comes to
relate to that?
supernatural, I do. I think that's why I gravitate towards Dean. Um, is we I mean, I obviously not in the same circumstances or not to the same extreme, but as the eldest sibling, I always felt the need to go to school, get good grades, go to college, get good grades, get a degree,
Mhm.
get a good job, which I haven't accomplished yet. Um, and that kind of pressure that comes with it. Now, whether my parents actually put that pressure on me could be like a depending on your point of view, but it definitely felt that way. And then my brother is very much like Sam where he's going to kind of do what he wants and he's not going to be told what to do and my dad's just like, "Okay, I guess."
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah, sure. And like I feel like Dean and I both look at our younger siblings the same where we do anything for them, but our childhoods were not the same, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't cuz you don't have a sibling.
No, I don't. I'm just here.
You just empathize.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm my own breed. Only children are in their own breed because I'm like I don't understand any of that. I'm like I grew up with pets and they were my siblings.
Yeah.
I talk to them.
Yeah. But yeah, Dean's my favorite because I feel like we share that kind of quote unquote older sibling trauma.
Mhm.
And also I feel like we both have the same kind of like instinct to need to take care of everybody before we take care of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
so
definitely
like
play the mom role very well.
yeah, so it's just like I think that's why I gravitate towards him. I also do really love Sam, especially in the later seasons. These very beginning seasons, he's such a nerd, and very like kind of stuck up. He's almost like a snob, which is weird because
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He is very, I mean, he's gone to Stanford. He's trying to be a lawyer. I get he's trying to live like a normal life, But as the seasons progress, you realize that he was never going to have the chance to have a normal life. Like they were destined to be these absolutely amazing hunters and to save the world
Yeah,
on
like
multiple occasions.
yeah, you don't really have a choice. Like this is what you do.
Yeah. But Sam in particular, I love because he's always the believer. He always believes that like God is going to come through and that there's got to be something bigger out there and that it can't like the whole world can't be just on him and Dean. And then spoiler alert later that his spirit is just like absolutely decimated at one point and you want to do nothing but like cuddle him and tell him it's going to be okay because he's such the believer. Like even though like he knows that like demons are out there and ghosts and Wendigos, he's like, no, there has to be like a good like something God equivalent out there that is going to take care of this world. And then he like gets his like then they, like meet God and meet angels and then they realize they're not that much better than the demons they have to deal with. So it just like crushes his little spirit.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, so I know our poor Sammy. We love him to death. He's just a big puppy dog. Um, but yeah, so it's again their own personal journeys through all of this is super amazing. There's so many ups and downs. Um, and just to
Mm-hmm.
have both Jensen and Jared play Sam and Dean through 15 seasons. And I mean, like they go through everything. They like, body swap with people so they have to act like other people and then they lose souls and go to purgatory and all of these things so it's amazing to see Sam and Dean go through all the shit they go through.
I like I was saying, I'm very excited to see it like how everything develops.
Uh-huh.
Because they like I said, they have everybody has like such unique personalities. And I'm excited to hear the things I've heard before. Like the phrases. I know the things.
Yeah.
Um how many times have you watched season one? Just out of curiosity. Like you think maybe in total.
um oh gosh, it's gotta let's see, I started watching Supernatural the summer I graduated college. So it was 2016. So I've probably seen season 1, I would say at minimum 5 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cuz typically like I will watch the whole shebang. So like I'll start in season 1 and just go all the way through and then start over again. This year I've been trying to be really good and not do that and try to make my way through One Piece and a bunch of other anime.
Yeah.
I made it through. I finished season 2 of JJK.
You're better than me because I haven't even
Yeah,
finished it.
I've officially beaten Kacie at at the watching to the end of an anime. But I heard we're getting season 3 soon, so that makes me happy. But it also needs to come faster.
Yay. Yes, absolutely.
So what is your overall rating for your first season of Supernatural?
I would say, keeping in mind that it came out in 2006, and like I said, it's got some like, there's definitely like some 2006 acting in it for sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would give it like a, I would give it like a 7.5.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Like it was, yeah, it was pretty good. I like, I definitely want to watch more, and I think that like the more it goes on and like the later seasons, the like as it progresses down the years that are closer to this year than 2006, which is like almost 20
Mhm.
years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy that
Yeah.
Supernatural's gonna have a 20-year anniversary coming up.
Yeah. It's actually insane. Also, I feel like uh is it season Oh gosh, I can't remember. I think it might be like season 4. Oh, it's season 5. Okay, so there's so like it was funny because Jared was like the big name on the Supernatural series when it came out because he had just done Gilmore Girls, um, and like Cheaper by the Dozen and a couple other things. So like his and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's
Mhm.
name were the big two, but Jensen Ackles just outshines, in my opinion, both of them. Like Jensen's just this
Yeah.
like unmatched force on this show. He is Dean Winchester. But there is an episode in season 5 where, and even Jensen admits this, where you will literally stare at Jared and be like, wow, this performance is literally top notch, like absolutely stunning. And even Jensen admits it because I don't know what it was, but Jared just like he had the right face twitch, body language, everything. Like it all came together in this beautiful moment. Um but otherwise, for the most part, Jensen really is like the absolutely stunning actor in this show. So I am excited for you to get out of the early
Yeah,
2000s acting.
I
They
agree.
actually
He's my
quickly
favorite
like
for sure.
find yeah, they quickly find their footing with each
Uh-oh. My
other.
internet's
Oh
hating me.
no. No, we're almost done, internet. Almost done. Um but they quickly find their footing with each other, which is great. And also like some of these episodes they hadn't known each other for like a whole 5 minutes before they were like, okay, now you gotta play brothers and stuff. And they're like, oh, okay. And they just like instantly clicked. And even when you watch interviews and stuff with them from cons and all that, they definitely like were meant to play brothers because they truly are brothers in real life, and it's such a cool relationship to see on and off screen. So I'm excited
Hmm.
for you to
I'm excited too.
delve into this, but I think that's where we're going to wrap this up. Casey, do you have any thoughts, opinions that you want to voice before we go?
Um, I'm excited to watch more, and we will do more updates. And if you haven't listened to the first episode, go listen to it. That was like literally like a year ago or something like that. Our first
Yeah, something
our first
crazy.
supernatural episode. So
Yeah.
go listen to that, and then um it's just gonna keep going. It's gonna be a fun ride. I'm excited.
Yeah. Also, talking about Supernatural makes me want to start it over, but maybe I'll hold off a little bit until we get to season 2, and then we can watch along with season 2. So subscribe to
Yes.
wherever you're listening for future Supernatural episodes, future Supernatural convention episodes, because we all know I've already been to 2, and now I'm just not going to stop. Um, don't forget to subscribe, follow us on all the socials for all the spooky content for this month. Um, you can check out my YouTube channel, also doing spooky content there. And I think that's all I have to say to you guys as per usual. So we will see you guys in the next episode. So bye.
Bye.